Those who believe that Barack Obama's election to the presidency would reduce prejudice against minorities, especially blacks, were wrong, according to a new poll from the Associated Press. It shows a slight majority of Americans now express prejudice toward blacks, whether they recognize those feelings or not. And the poll says racial attitudes have not improved during the Obama presidency. Overall, the AP study shows a 3% increase, 51 to 48, over a similar poll taken 4 years ago. Poll takers conclude that racial prejudice could cost President Obama the loss of votes and perhaps the election. Now, Mary, is this a serious, for-real study, or is this just somebody with a conclusion looking for a study to validate it?
I like the way you always just give me two choices when there are at least 400 when you're talking about academic studies. Well, this is Stanford University and the University of Chicago and Michigan, so obviously there are authentic scholars working on this question. However, you know, scholars are like everybody else. They want to publish their results right before they can sell their book on the subject, in this case, the election, which doesn't authenticate the results. Well, let's just talk about race relations, you know. Our relationships with each other, black and white and Asian and all ethnic groups in between, needs to improve in this country. And yes, from time to time, our relations with each other get worse or get better. I do think we are more polarized as our country becomes more divided economically. I think that's for real. Whether the president is the first multiracial president. That doesn't mean the study isn't accurate.
Let me offer a couple of points about this. Sure. We have a graphic that will make it a little clearer to the audience what we're talking about. This was done online, and the questions were asked about black and Hispanic people. Also asked if certain words describe blacks, whites, and Hispanics, words like violent, lazy, friendly, hardworking. They were also shown pictures that allowed the people taking the survey to measure racist feelings, even if the people did not realize they had them. Now, how are you measuring feelings people don't know they have?
It measured two things: explicit racial attitudes, which are the things we say to each other and we acknowledge that we're doing so, and implicit racial attitudes, which are those that we may reveal to others or to scientists studying the issue, but we don't necessarily know we have. The question is this got anything at all to do with the race for president?
Does this have anything to do with anything?
The part about I didn't see how they are making the connection to Obama about racial issues in America and how that is even related to, you know, especially when you look at how much of the white vote he won in 2008. I mean, you know, it's counterintuitive for me to say now that we've got this racial divisiveness.
In 1982, I supported Alan Wheat. I worked with Alan Wheat when he was the first black person to run for Congress in Kansas City. And the city was only 23% African American, and he won overwhelmingly. So it goes back and forth, and I don't exactly know what let
me get Woody and Yale in here. Any reactions to this study, Woody?
Well, I read a Kathleen Parker column from the Washington Post. I don't think it's been in the Star yet, it will be. And she took this study to task. And she quoted, I think, 3 different questions they had asked that were, I will say, those are only 3 questions out of what were no doubt a great many, but they were risible. They were laughable. And they were, have you stopped beating your wife stuff? I mean, and that's what she called them. And so I failed to be impressed. We've elected a president of African American extraction. I don't say there's nobody out there with racist attitudes or anything of the kind, but that we have somehow shifted back to the bad old days. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it.
There was this belief by some, and it wasn't promoted, I don't think, by President Obama, but the belief by some that if he were elected, all racial problems would disappear in America, and nobody with a brain, nobody believed that. Yale, what do you think of this study?
I think it's flawed, as Woody just said, and I think you may have agreed too. But I mean, in general, yes, again, as Woody just said, racism is alive and well. I don't think it permeates the society as it did 50, 60 years ago, but of course it's there, and of course some of it is black against white and much more prominent white against black. So it's out there. I mean, the study to me, I did not read it.
and
It's a great
Some African American
contribution.
leaders have rightly said that when you have a first of something, that person becomes far more scrutinized in terms of whether or not they benefit, quote, their own population from which they come, like the first senator from Missouri.
Probably
happens to be a woman.
minorities are the most disappointed in Barack Obama's first 4 years.
Oh,
They were the most loyal support. No,
I
because he couldn't accomplish all the things they hoped he
I
could.
think they're far more understanding of the
Well.
realities of what he inherited and the unrealistic expectations of what he could accomplish in 4 years.
Finish the sentence. Inherited from George
George Bush,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.